All right, so today we're diving into something that's been making headlines and sparking a lot of debate, the rise of malpractice claims against nurse practitioners. It seems like every time I turn around, there's another article or news segment about it, and honestly, it's pretty concerning. On the one hand, we're all aware of the critical role that NPs play in our healthcare system, especially with the growing shortage of doctors. But on the other hand, if these malpractice claims are on the rise, it raises questions about patient safety and whether NPs are truly equipped to handle the increasing demands of their expanding roles.
Yeah, it's a complex issue for sure. I think what often gets lost in these headlines is the sheer scale of the shift that's happening in healthcare. Forget the history for a second. Some experts are actually predicting that by 2035, over 60% of rural America will rely on NPs as their primary healthcare providers.
Wow, 60%. That's a huge number.
It is huge. And it means that understanding the legal and professional pressures that NPs face is becoming absolutely crucial, not just for the NPs themselves, but for anyone who might be treated by one.
Okay, yeah, that puts things in a much bigger perspective than I was initially thinking about. I mean, you always hear about doctor shortages, especially in those areas outside of major cities. But 60%, that's a game changer. So how did we get here? How did we go from those early NPs kind of filling in the gaps to this potential future where they're basically the main healthcare provider for so many people?
Well, the NP profession has always been about adapting to meet needs. It all started back in 1965 with Dr. Loretta Ford and Dr. Henry Silver. They created the first NP program because Colorado was facing a severe shortage of pediatric care, particularly in rural areas. It was a practical solution to a pressing problem, but it ended up sparking a movement.
It's interesting how often practicality drives innovation, right? Like they weren't necessarily setting out to revolutionize healthcare. They saw a need, they came up with a solution, and now here we are talking about NPs potentially becoming the backbone of healthcare for a huge portion of the country.
Exactly. And that evolution, going from filling gaps to leading in primary care is at the core of this whole liability discussion, because with an expanded role, obviously comes a whole new set of legal complexities.